You're watching News at Prime. Let's bring you this conversation now. The National Energy Regulator of South Africa and Eskom are at loggerheads. This is over the recently awarded trading licenses. The utility is taking Nersa to court for allowing more than one license in the same area. Let's speak now to Nersa's Nhlanhla Gumede, who joins us on the virtual platform. Mr. Gumede, good evening to you, and thank you very much for your time. How do you respond, first of all, to Eskom taking you to court over the recent awarding of these trading licenses?
Good afternoon to you, Tolly, and to the viewers. I guess on that score, we've just read on the news ourselves and we've seen a media statement, but we're still awaiting for that process to unfold. And as any stakeholder is allowed to take the decisions of the energy regulator on review by the High Court. So that is the normal course of business. So I would not want to comment too much on that, to be quite frank.
All right. Let's understand the rationale, therefore, for Eskom awarding these 4 trading licenses.
Oh, you mean for Nersa to award? Okay.
Sorry, Nersa, yes.
Yes. In essence, as you know, that the regulator really has got the mandate to issue licenses in the main over 4 categories of licenses. And with the new act, it has added 2 more. But the first one really is a license to generate or to operate a generating facility, as it is written in the law. The second one is a license to operate a transmission system. And the third category are licenses to operate distribution facilities. Then the last category of licenses are licenses to trade, that is to buy and or sell electricity. In the new law, it's quite clear, it's the right to sell and to right to buy and sell electricity. So it's that transaction. That is the trading, like in terms of generators. Anybody, we have IPPs nowadays who actually generate electricity, but unfortunately there are those operations or activities which there can only be one. For instance, in transmission, you can't have two transmission facilities running parallel to each other, same as in distribution. But when it comes to trading, there is no limit in terms of the number of traders that can operate in a particular area or nationally. So that was the premise. The act actually wants Nersa to promote competition, and competition actually is at that level.
The understanding is that in previous experiences, Eskom has not really taken the step that they have. In fact, I stand corrected here, but they have never done this before, where they oppose the awarding of these trading licenses. Is this surprising to you? I know you said you don't want to react necessarily to them going to court, but is this a surprise action based on your previous dealings on this particular score?
Well, let's put it this way. We actually come from an era in South Africa where you had, for instance, local authorities. They had their own local supply areas, and nobody else could actually trade electricity or supply electricity in those areas. Each local authority had the right to do that, and Eskom similarly. So Eskom also, in terms of the Eskom Act of 1987 and the previous acts before that, which are Eskom laws, also had areas of exclusive trading. Unfortunately, with the change of the constitution, of course, and we moved we moved into a system where South Africa is a unitary state, and in that unitary state, there's also choice. So instead of actually having particular local authorities having exclusive rights, for instance, over a particular supply area, we moved away from that. Similarly with Eskom. However, that was on paper, if you like. We really, for the longest of time, have only really had one trader. known as Power X.
Yeah.
But in the past 2 years or so, the number, we've added a few. I think we are now closer to 8. And I'd like to believe that the number is going to increase even more as people get into that space. It's actually a natural, or always simple saying is that the actual right to buy and sell electricity should not be limited to a handful of people.
Yeah.
It is not provided for in our law, neither is it provided for in our constitution. So I think the issue now is just the sheer number. As we say, the last time we actually did 4 in one go, but we have done a few in the past few years.
Very quickly on this part, there is a view that Eskom is trying to play a destructive game here, going against government policy. Do you believe that Eskom is deliberately going against government policy?
Actually, totally no. For me, I always say, as a businessman, even if it's yourself, can you imagine that the very first time when Telkom was told that we're going to allow Neotel first in terms of the landline business, then thereafter you had all the Vodacoms, and I'm sure as Telkom you would have done anything to actually try to preserve your monopoly. That's just the natural reaction from business. So do I expect different from Eskom? No, I don't. I just think that yes, they need to defend their rights as much as other people as well need to defend their rights in terms of the right to participate. So Eskom is doing what Eskom needs to do. And I think the traders also who wants to come into this space need to do what those traders need to do. And all that we do as the regulator is we regulate the system as provided for by the law. So if the law had provided for exclusivity, yes, that would have actually had to enforce. But of course, someone would argue that in this day and age, if we ever try to do that, that would be deemed to be uncompetitive anyway. So someone could actually easily take it to another domain, to another regulator, and that decision could well be overturned.
Ntantla Gumede, thank you very much for your time. He speaks for the National Energy Regulator.